Hi, I'm Dan with North Forest Travels, and I'm here to talk about how I got into travel hacking. So it was 2016, I had just turned 30, and I set a goal for myself to be able to go to Thailand when I turned 35. In business class, though. That was the key. I wanted to fly to Thailand in business class. So I had 5 years in order to do this goal, which I was worried I wouldn't have enough time. To fly business class must take so many points, and it would just take me years to build those up. So, but I started. I was concerned. I had all the fears of how is this going to affect my credit? What if I get into credit card debt? All these different things that had held me off from jumping into this years back. But I finally got to a point where I was like, if I'm going to travel like I want to travel, I need to find a way to do it, and maybe this is the way. So I started with a Delta SkyMiles card, and then I referred my wife, so I got the referral bonus for her SkyMiles card. Then we referred my in-laws, I believe, and they got the SkyMiles card. And then we both have businesses, so we each got the business card too. And I think it was about 6 months, I was looking at flights and I realized we had enough already for 2 business class tickets to Thailand, which I couldn't believe. How is that possible? We only used 4 credit cards. We didn't go into any debt. We just put our regular expenses onto those cards, and we have enough money to go. We have enough points to go to Thailand in business class. How is that possible? So, long story short, my wife does not like to fly, and flying all the way to Thailand and then hopping all over the country as I had planned was not in her what she wanted to do. So she gave me the blessing to go ahead by myself. So I am 31. I have business class tickets to Thailand, and I still have points left over somehow. How is this possible? So at the same time, I also came across an opportunity, or I should say my wife came across an opportunity for me to expand my media business and learn how to film weddings. The trick was, though, it was the following month in June in Amsterdam. So summer travel to Europe is insane. I think the tickets were $1,500. So obviously that was just not in the cards. But with points that I had left over, I was able to book a flight non-stop from Toronto to Amsterdam for, I think it was $150 round trip. So within a span of 6 months, I had enough points to fly to Thailand in business class and fly to Amsterdam in economy, and I still had points left over from that. I couldn't believe this. This is insane. Why? How is this possible? It's possible. I'm telling you, it's possible. It's crazy. From that moment, I have never looked back. If I have to spend more than $100 on a plane ticket, I can't do it. I can't do it. Currently, I'm trying to book flights we're doing a trip to Europe this summer. I'm trying to book flights from Paris to Venice because we got a crazy last minute deal to Paris. So now we added that to our trip, but now I have to figure out how to get to Venice. The points right now aren't aligning, so I have to keep looking, but the tickets that we just purchased them are $200. I can't do it. I can't spend that much money on a plane ticket. Call me ridiculous, whatnot. The things we've been able to do with points has totally changed my mindset on travel. Just to add on to that 2017, how we started, we actually, the following February, flew from Toronto to Maui round trip for 35,000 points, Delta SkyMiles points, and I had started to dabble with Chase points, which are amazing. I love them. I'm obsessed. So we flew there from Toronto to Maui. 35,000 points each. And then, didn't know this was possible at the time, but we were able to stay at our hotel, the Hyatt, beautiful hotel, for free. Cost us no money out of pocket, just points. So no taxes, nothing, free. How is this possible? That trip should have cost us $15,000 easy. And we paid $75 in taxes, I believe, out of Toronto, and then the hotel was free. So, to say I was hooked at this point is an understatement. So let me just jump in and kind of explain like how to start. So there are some things with travel hacking that you've got to make sure that you're like ready to go. So I find a lot of times when people are, I've talked to friends and family that want to get into this, and it's you got to adjust your mindset on travel. So one of the biggest things that one of my friends who got into travel hacking with me now is, he said, what the biggest thing that I struggled with was not planning the next place I wanted to go, regardless of the cost or what deals were out there. He said, I just was like focused on this one place. And you can't do that. I mean, you definitely can, but why? Why are you doing this? The biggest thing is your points are gold. You want to do the most insane trip for the least amount of points and least amount of money. So you may not end up finding a great deal to the Bahamas. You may not find a great deal to go to Florida, but you may find an insane deal to go to Greece or to go to Australia or to go to Hawaii. But that isn't in your, like what you're looking at right now. So you kind of closed your mind off to it. So you got this tunnel vision when you're planning your travel. So what you want to do is have at least 10 places that you want to travel to on your list. At least. That's minimum 10. Then you kind of take a look at those places. When is the best time to travel? When is the rainy season? So you kind of have an idea, okay, like for Thailand, the rainy season usually ends in November. So if you go in the middle November, you should be fine. So it's kind of the low season, but it's the tail end of the low season going into the high season. That may be a good time to look for points travel. You may find points travel to those places in peak season. There's no necessarily rhyme or reason to it, but you just have to kind of have your eyes in all different places. The next thing, once you've figured out where you want to go, you have to figure out how you're going to get there. Who's going to take you there? So each airline usually has their own frequent flyer program, and they have code-share agreements with other airlines, so you can use their frequent flyer to actually fly on different airlines if they allow it. There's a lot of different things with that. We'll get into that later. But you need to figure out who you're going to build points on in order to get to the places you want to go, because there's a lot of times that it may be way more expensive on one airline, but it's way cheaper on another airline with points. Or the one airline may not fly there, or they may not have a code-share agreement with someone who goes there. So you have no way of making it a destination. So you got to look at who goes where you want to go. With points travel, you want to make sure that you're kind of looking ahead. So I always start looking for trips about a year, but not for flights, probably like 8-9 months before I'm planning on going, just so I can see when the best points are going to be for my trip, so I can book the flight first, and then I go ahead and find the hotel usually. So now that you've figured out how you're going to get there, with what airline or what different frequent flyer program, you need to figure out what credit cards are available to obtain those points that you need. So there's offers all the time on different credit cards. Just because the current offer is 60,000 points after you spend 3,000 in 6 months or 3 months or whatever it is, doesn't mean that is the best deal. that credit card may have had 100,000 points for the same amount of spend in a few months ago. So that's where you kind of need to look and do some research, which is kind of what we're doing here at North Forest Travels, to help you find the best deal for your daily spending. And that's the other thing too. Like, this is, if you're going to use a credit card, you should not use it for anything beyond your normal spending. Just because you have a credit card doesn't mean you should go out and buy things you wouldn't normally buy. The whole point of this is to use things you're already going to buy to then travel for cheap or free. So make sure that you have that mindset in place too, that this is not, a credit card is not your key to the city to buy whatever you want. It is your ability to buy what you normally would and then leverage those points to travel for practically nothing. So once you find the credit card, you start building your points. So the biggest thing that is important is you have to hit that spend bonus for the welcome bonus. So a lot of times, let's say it's like spend $6,000 in 3 months to get 90,000 points, or whatever the deal is. One of the things that a lot of people say to me, well, I would never spend $6,000 in that amount of time. It's funny because I feel the same way. And then I look at what we're spending at the grocery store, what we're spending on gas, what we're spending on just to do things. And we hit that really fast, really, really fast. So if you think that you can't do that, then you shouldn't sign up for that credit card. But make sure you look at your finances first and look and see what you're spending on your debit card or your credit cards currently, because you'd be surprised how much you're actually spending. Another thing, if you are living with somebody or you have a spouse, you can work together to build your points. And this is how you fast track your travel hacking. So, for example, I was talking about my wife when we first started travel hacking in 2016-17, and how I got the Delta card and we used my credit card for all of our household expenses. So all of our household expenses went on to my credit card. Then I referred my wife, which then got me a referral bonus, and we put all of our expenses on her credit card. So we stopped using my credit card and we used only her credit card. Then we got the next card, and same thing. We attack one card at a time. Now, we usually keep the cards open, depending if we're using them. Sometimes we'll close them within the year. It just depends. It's something you gotta look at for yourself and like what you want to do. You definitely don't want to like always cancel the card unless it has benefits, unless it doesn't have a benefit for you. Because there are different things with the credit card companies. It looks kind of like you're scamming them for just points only. So you got to be careful of that. But overall, I mean, the amount of points we've been able to build just using our everyday expenses, I mean, it's crazy. So let me just go on some of our highlighted trips. So we did that Maui trip. I went to Thailand. I went to Amsterdam. I ended up going to Bali, Indonesia, business class, round trip around the world for, I think it was $90. It was crazy. I flew on Swiss Air, I flew on Thai, Singapore Airlines. It was amazing. The service, amazing. What else did we do? Oh, we just got back from a trip to Hawaii where we flew for $11 each. So our family of 4 was $44, and our hotel was $0. So totally free because we used points. Love you, Hyatt. So yeah, where else did we go? I went to Oktoberfest in Munich, business class round trip. I think that was $130 round trip business class. I just got back from New Zealand. This is probably the best redemption I've ever gotten. Round trip to New Zealand, first in business class, all legs, was $100 and 120,000 United Mileage Plus points, which is so cheap. That should have been easily 400,000 points. Normal. So, flew Polaris business class to New Zealand. I actually used the excursionist perk that United has and flew a flight within New Zealand for free because it was part of my original itinerary. So I think with that, and then I use my hotel points. I use IHG hotel points to stay for free in all the hotels except for one night. So I had one night in a hotel on my 10-day trip, which I think was $110, and my flights were like $100 or $90 for my international flights, and then I did have to purchase one domestic ticket just to get from Queenstown to Christchurch, and I think that was like $90. So under $300 to go to New Zealand in business class for 10 days. Come on, it's crazy. So I don't want to overwhelm anybody with points travel. It's not overwhelming, so you have to look at your spending. You have to look at where you want to go. All the places you want to go, not just one. Don't just book a trip to Florida with these points. You gotta look at all of the different places you can go, and don't get locked into like, I'm gonna go in the summer, or I'm gonna go in the winter, or during the spring break. I know everyone has a life, and there's definitely restrictions that we have based on work and school schedules that allow us to travel, but try and bend those as much as you can. Because like for us, for example, when we go to Hawaii in February for President's Day break, if we fly back Sunday or Saturday, it's ridiculous how many points it costs. If we fly back Monday, it's a quarter of the points. So, we take our kids out of school for one day and we fly back from Hawaii. What are you gonna do? I mean, these are trips and memories that we'll have for the rest of our lives, and things that our kids have been able to do that we could never afford to do without points. So if you're interested and you want to learn more about travel hacking, check out northforesttravels.com. Or if you'd like to jump into it even further, you can schedule a concierge call. It's a private call with me to discuss your options as far as like which credit cards you should probably choose in order to book the trips you want to go on. Or if you're at the point you already have points available and you're ready to book, but you don't really know what the best options out there, we can take a private call and discuss the different options for your destinations and kind of show you like different tricks you can look into. So I appreciate it. This is my first video jumping from behind the camera, and I hope you are now interested in travel hacking because it's life changing. All right, see ya.